I awoke at 3 o'clock in the morning, approximately, as I almost always do, since August of 1979. In August of 1979, I was on a wildfire for more than 30 hours, so I slept pretty well when I got home that day. By August of 1979, I had taken a college biology course, and back in those days, the Limits to Growth was allowed reading. It came out in 1972, and through the 1970s, it was allowed to be presented on college campuses. As I lay awake this time, I thought about my recent visit to the doctor. It was an annual checkup for my medical doctor. My medical doctor is about 40 years old, and she has kids at home. In fact, she says she will never introduce me to her kids because she's afraid that I will transmit my addiction for ice cream to her children. She wants them to stay in better shape than that. So because she has kids at home, because she seems to be a rational, informed human being, I never mentioned, ever, abrupt climate change. I've never mentioned human extinction, none of the things that I talk about with you. I mentioned that I'd had chronic prostatitis since I was in my 20s, ultimately diagnosed when I was in my 30s, and I was a little surprised that it hadn't transitioned into prostate cancer, as frequently it does. And I'm getting to be that old when those kinds of things happen. She says that I was overdue for a colonoscopy. In fact, last year she said I was overdue for a colonoscopy, but if it was fine with me, we would just think about it for the next year. And so I said, of course I'll think about it for the next year. Having a colonoscopy is not a lot of fun. We agreed last year to wait for a year, and she said this year we can't agree to wait a year, or I'm not doing my job as a medical doctor. So I pointed out that maybe, just maybe, if I keep putting it off year after year and keep thinking about it year after year, then maybe I would just die because of my chronic prostatitis and I wouldn't have to deal with that. And her response, the world is falling apart. That's what she said. The world is falling apart. And so maybe I won't have to have that colonoscopy after all. That was the implication that she was making. Anyway, now they have a new technique. You can avoid the colonoscopy and do a home-administered test that just involves sending a stool sample through UPS. I'm all about that. At the edge of extinction, only love remains, and the occasional stool test.